Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're all keeping well. Welcome back to my channel. Anyway, just a little follow-up video from my last one where I reviewed WWE Night of Champions. I said that if there was anything major that happened on Raw, I would do a little video covering it. And we pretty much start off the show with a big revelation that the whole King of the Ring was a waste of time. So, Oba comes out, does his strut to the ring, and then before he even gets talking about who he's going to challenge, Brock Lesnar comes out, attacks him, and then as he's walking away, Oba, challenges him to a match at SummerSlam. Brock Lesnar accepts, but with the stipulation that it's going to be inside Hell in a Cell. So, am I excited for Brock and Oba to face each other at SummerSlam and Hell in a Cell? Yes and no. I think it'll be a good match, but their last two matches haven't exactly been anything brilliant. It's just been, spamming finishing moves, and just I don't know what else we're going to get in a Hell in a Cell. Lesnar hitting F5 after F5. Oba might, charge Brock through one of the cell walls. They're fighting on the outside or something. I fully expect Oba to win that. I know they were saying in commentary that Brock's never lost a Hell in a Cell match, but I would fully expect Oba to get the win and finish this feud. Whether Brock fully retires from that or he continues on, I don't know. As I said before, I'd be very surprised if Saudi Arabia wasn't trying to get Brock on the WrestleMania card for next year. But yeah, the whole thing is, if they're gonna do Brock versus Oba at SummerSlam, so basically, Oba has given up his title shot at SummerSlam to face Brock Lesnar instead. So, what the hell was the whole point of the King of the Ring? Why did they bar to have Oba, in the finals at the first place? Why didn't they have Brock, cost Oba a qualifying match and then they could have led to that? The show ended with Roman coming out, and he was interrupted by Seth, and he was talking about that the title Roman is holding belongs to Seth. He never lost it. He asked for a title shot, and Roman tells him to piss off, get to the back of the line, and Seth basically spins his way into a title match by going through their history and saying that basically Roman has never beaten Seth, and everything that's happened to Roman over the past few years, whether it was at WrestleMania where he pinned Roman in the triple threat and Paul Heyman aligned with him, whether it was when he helped Cody to finish his story and beat Roman and take the title, whether it's whenever he cashed in Money in the Bank at WrestleMania and beat Roman and Brock for the title, or whether it's all the way back to when he broke up the Shield and hit Roman in the back. But so basically the SummerSlam match is Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. But again, therein lies the problem. If this was always the plan, why did they have Oba Femi win King of the Ring? You could have easily had Seth win King of the Ring and then choose Roman, and we're in the same scenario. Um, we didn't even need Jay in the finals. You could have done Seth versus Braun in the finals because they faced each other in the cage. You didn't need the cage match. You could have had Seth versus Braun in the finals of the King of the Ring. Seth beats Braun, becomes King of the Ring, and then he ends his feud with Braun and the Vision, and then he chooses Roman because he wants the title back, and because there's a story there where Roman has never beaten Seth. And you still could have gotten the thing then where Lesnar cost Oba, and then they're going to settle their feud at SummerSlam. I mean, honestly, fair enough. They're putting Oba and Lesnar in the Hell in a Cell. I would honestly, if anything, I would think you would put Roman and Seth in the Hell in a Cell, given their historic feud and everything they've been through, and the fact that you want a way to keep the bloodline from getting involved in the match. Jacob and the Usos from getting involved. And Seth said it on the show that this is probably this is going to be the last time that you and I do this dance, that you have a chance to beat me. I thought that would have been the match to put inside Hell in a Cell to finally, end their long feud and, finally, put their rivalry, in the books for good. But they're going with Oba and Brock Lesnar. I do think it'll be a good match. I don't think it's going to be a fantastic match. I think it'll be a case of just what we've seen. Brock hitting a lot of F5s. Oba's going to probably throw him about the cell. I'd say they might find a way to break out of the cell where they break through the door or something. I don't think we'll get to the scenario where they're standing on top of the cell battling each other, but I think it'll be a case of they might break out of the cell and I don't know, somebody goes through an announce table. They love the announce table spots, and Oba will win that. But I say it's stupid that they've just wasted the King of the Ring tournament. If this was always the plan, why didn't they just have it where Seth and Braun met each other in the King of the Ring finals, and that even if you didn't want to do that, even if you wanted to have Jay in the final, you could have done it where Seth advances to the final and then Roman basically sends Jay with the mission of, you better win King of the Ring. You better stop Seth from winning King of the Ring. You better stop him from trying to come after me and this title. And, then you have Seth beat Jay and challenge Roman. But, I don't know. Apparently now, SmackDown is being taped, or it was taped after Raw, because I think they're giving the superstars the 4th of July holiday off. But apparently Jay was heading to SmackDown to challenge Sami. So are we in a scenario now where Jay lost King of the Ring to Oba, but Oba's not going to be challenged for the title, but Jay's going to end up challenging Sami for the title? I mean, I don't see that. I expect Cody will be looking for a rematch. Gunther will probably be whatever he's doing with Nick Aldis. They talked about a thing where Nick Aldis and Gunther had both been sent home, and Nick Aldis been placed on administrative leave or something. But I just think it's very stupid. If the plan always was for SummerSlam, Brock, Oba, Roman, Seth, you did not need to have Oba win King of the Ring and then give up his title shot, because that's a waste of the King of the Ring tournament. You could have just had Seth win it, challenge thing, and then if you want to do Seth and Braun, you could have done Seth and Braun at Saturday night's main event at Madison Square Garden. But I don't know. I personally, I don't think they have a clue what they're doing in creative half the time. I think they're blindly throwing darts at a wall, and just seeing what the dart hits and then going with that. Because if the plan was always for Seth to face Roman, then it should have been, very simple to make Seth win King of the Ring and challenge Roman, instead of this whole scenario of Oba winning King of the Ring and then giving up his title shot to face Brock. And you had Seth fighting Braun on the Night of Champions card in a cage match when they could have been fighting in the finals. But as I said, he could have been fighting Jay with, Roman sending Jay to stop Seth, but Seth beats Jay and he gets a shot at Roman. But I don't know. There wasn't much else happened on the show. I was watching the football, so I was just flicking through the show. Raquel beat Maxine, Liv, and Raquel and Roxanne beat up Io. JD and Chad Gable had a very good match. Again, I don't know what they're doing with the Intercontinental title. It looks like, they could be doing Rey Mysterio versus Penta again at SummerSlam, because Rey was doing a interview during one of the ad breaks, and he was saying that this will be his 12th SummerSlam appearance, and he'd love to challenge Penta again. But then what do you do with like Ethan Page and Chad Gable and Rusev, and I'd like to see Sheamus get back in the title hunt at some point, because he just needs the Intercontinental title to win his Grand Slam. What else happened? Anything else happened? The Street Profits, they were in a segment with Joe Hendry, and Austin Theory is getting a rematch with Braun Breaker next week for the tag titles. Paul Heyman has somewhat distanced himself from the Vision, so is the Vision. At this point, the Vision just needs the Vision's flatlined. Every time the group gets together, they barely last like a few weeks before somebody gets injured again. Braun Breaker gets injured, then Bronson Reed gets injured, then Braun Breaker comes back, Logan Paul gets injured. So I would just, as I said before, I would just break up the whole faction. I would have, once Paul Heyman and Lesnar are done with their thing, I would have Paul Heyman work with Braun, and let Austin Theory and Logan Paul just become a tag team. And then whenever Bronson Reed comes back, just put him in. Bronson Reed, I would move him to SmackDown and let him battle either in the US title scenario, or if he wants to go for the WWE title. I don't know, but the Vision just hasn't worked out. But yeah, I'll leave that there. But I just wanted to do a little follow-up video on the shenanigans from Raw. overall, like on paper, you know, we got some good matches. Seth versus Roman, possibly for the last time. Oba versus Brock in a Hell in a Cell. I just think they could have built it better than just having Oba win King of the Ring and then saying, well, I'll fight for the title another time, even though I just went for the King of the Ring to earn a title shot. I'll fight for another time. I'm gonna go face Brock. They could just went about it a completely different way, and we'll see what happens with SmackDown. Jay's apparently going to challenge Sammy. Hopefully that does not bloody happen. As I said, I didn't want Jay winning the King of the Ring, and I definitely don't want to see Jay fighting for the WWE title at SummerSlam. If anything, I would want to see the Jay and Jimmy battling the Street Profits for the tag titles at SummerSlam. I think that would be a great match. And then we'll see what happens with Sammy on SmackDown, whether he faces Cody in a rematch or they have another challenger for him. But anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you watched Raw, what are your thoughts on how everything played out, and are you looking forward to the matches? And like me, did you think this was just a stupid way of going about it? Like, instead of having Oba win King of the Ring, they could have had Seth win King of the Ring. But anyway, let me know your thoughts, and if there's any other major reveals this week on SmackDown, I'll do a video to cover that. Drop a like if you and subscribe to the channel, it'd be very much appreciated. Follow me on my social medias. For Twitter at Flynn Reacts, should be. Yeah, it should be Flynn Reacts on Twitter or X, and Mr. Flynn on Mr. Flynn 89 on Instagram. Anyway, take care, and I'll see you again.